enough to keep the peace, to keep Claire from going to prison. He was the architect of this gilded cage, and I was the sacrifice laid upon its altar. He sank to his knees beside Mom, burying his face in his hands. "Oh God," he moaned, "what have we done?" But Mom wasn't listening. Her world had shrunk to the single, devastating fact of my death, and in that moment she made a decision that would seal the fate of everyone in that house. She would not call an ambulance. She would not call the police. She would not allow anyone to take me away to certify my death, to label her a monster. I was hers. Even in death, I belonged to her. I was the anchor for her delusion, the necessary evil that paved the way for her Noah's return. If I was gone, the whole fragile edifice would collapse. "We can't let anyone know," she hissed, grabbing Dad's arm with a vice-like grip, her eyes wide with madness locked onto his. "If they take her, they'll take everything. They'll take the baby. They'll take our lives. We'll say she ran away. Yes, that's it. She ran away because she was jealous. She couldn't handle the new baby. She left us a note." "A note?" Dad looked up, bewildered. "What are you talking about? There's no note." "There will be," Mom snapped, her mind already racing. She spotted the notebook on my desk, the one where I sometimes doodled when I was supposed to be doing homework. She lunged for it, ripping out a page. "Robert, give me a pen." "What are you doing?" he asked, his voice trembling. "Saving us?" she screamed. "Writing the story we need to survive. She's jealous, she's unstable, she ran away. She left this for us to find after she was gone, to show how much she suffered, to explain why she did it." She began to scrawl on the paper, her handwriting jagged and frantic. "I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. I can't be Noah. I'll never be Noah. The baby needs you. I'm just a shadow. I'm leaving. Don't look for me." She signed it with a shaky, childlike scrawl, "Your loving daughter, Scarlett." She folded the note and placed it prominently on my pillow next to my cold, unmoving hand. Then she stood up, her expression hardening into a mask of grim determination. "We'll put her in the basement until we figure out what to do, until the baby is born, then we'll decide." Dad stared at her aghast. "The basement? Claire, she's our daughter. We can't just hide her body." "You have a better idea?" she spat, her eyes blazing with a terrifying mix of grief and resolve. "Do you want to spend the rest of your life in jail while social workers tear our family apart, while they take our perfect baby away from us? Is that what you want, Robert? To lose everything?" He looked from her to me, my spirit self floating silently above the scene, a silent, invisible witness to my own erasure. The weight of his cowardice pressed down on him, a physical force threatening to crush him. He saw the path of least resistance, the same path he had always taken, and he chose it. He nodded, a slow, reluctant movement of his head. "Okay," he whispered, defeated. "Okay, we'll put her in the basement, just for now." Together, they lifted my body. It was disturbingly light, a skeleton wrapped in skin. As they carried me past the door, I saw the blue bassinet in the living room, gleaming in the afternoon sun. My mother was already cooing to it, smoothing the blanket, her entire being focused on the future that was not mine. They took me down the narrow, rickety stairs into the damp, earthy darkness of the basement. Cobwebs clung to the rafters, and the air smelled of mildew and forgotten things. They laid me on an old, stained mattress in a corner, far from the furnace and the water heater. It was a tomb in all but name. As they turned to leave, Mom paused at the top of the stairs. She looked back at my lifeless form, a fresh wave of tears welling in her eyes. "I'm sorry, Noah," she whispered, her words meant for the child in her womb, but her voice thick with a sorrow that had nothing to do with a baby. "I'm so sorry it had to be this way, but it's for the best. This way you can come back. This way we can be a real family again." Then she turned and shut the door, plunging me into absolute darkness. The lock clicked into place with a sound that echoed in my spectral bones. Chapter 5: The House That Feeds. Time ceased to have meaning in the basement. There was no sun, no moon, no ticking clock. There was only the oppressive velvet blackness and the suffocating silence. I was alone, truly, utterly alone. For a while I simply existed, a disembodied consciousness